The Paracave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leisure Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Paracave Podcast, the Parramatta Times.
G'day, it's Gus Walland here from Gotcha for Life and Triple M. I'd love to invite you along to the Mental Fitness Gym. Go to the mentalfitnessgym.org. That is a place where you can pick up some exercises to build your mental fitness, to work on that emotional muscle, those muscles in your head that are so powerful. Please come and join us at the mentalfitnessgym.org for all that stuff to build your emotional muscle and your mental fitness.
Welcome to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Paracave.
And yes, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. Troy Warner here, and it is International Game Day preview. The Pacific Championships are starting tonight with Australia, the Kangaroos, taking on the Tonga side. Up there at Suncorp Stadium, 8:10pm, 7:10pm up there in Queensland due to daylight savings. But Suncorp Stadium is the venue. Weather is nice and fine up there. And look, this is going to be an absolute cracker of a game. Two sides with some absolute champion players in it. And look, Australia will be going into this game. They will be wanting revenge in this Pacific Championships after their 30-0 loss to New Zealand last season. That was their biggest ever loss to New Zealand, and they will want revenge to obviously win this Pacific Championships and just add another trophy to their cabinet. Now, the last time these two sides played was back in 2019. It was a 16-12 winning result to the Tongan side over Australia. That game played at Eden Park in 2019. And look, there was three players from that side that are playing in this game. Daniel Tupou, and Adam Fanua-Blake and Jason Taumalolo. And there is only one player that played for Australia on that day that is playing in this game tonight. That player being Cameron Murray, who was playing off the bench in jumper number 14 on that day. The coach was, of course, Mal Meninga. So the coach and Cameron Murray are the players that were around at that time. Very interesting stat about Cameron Murray. He has scored tries in his last 6 tests for Australia. A remarkable feat, that one. Can he score another try against in his next test? He's starting in the second row position with the new Australian captain Isaiah Yeo in at lock. Congratulations, Isaiah. A magnificent achievement to captain your country. That is for sure. Very interesting that Jake Travojevic and Daly Cherry-Evans are not in this Australian side. Obviously, both the captains for New South Wales and Queensland in the State of Origin series. But that wasn't to be. They didn't get selected, unfortunately. But look, if we run through the sides, first of all, the home side, Dylan Edwards makes his debut for Australia at the fullback position. Obviously, he played in the wing position for Australia last year in the Pacific Championships, with James Tedesco being the captain last year and fullback. But he is in his natural position of fullback. Xavier Coates and Zach Lomax are on the wings. Zach Lomax obviously making his debut as well for Australia and moving to Parramatta in 2025. So made his debut in State of Origin this year for New South Wales, was one of New South Wales' best players, and now has got the call up in the wing, on the wing position. for Australia, and very interesting actually. He has come out and said that he wants to play in the centre position for Parramatta, so interesting. He got selected on the wing there. Hamiso Tabuai Fido is in the centre alongside Tom Travojevic as well, who has played centre before for New South Wales and Australia. Hasn't played footy for a long time since Manly got knocked out in the semi-finals. So a few weeks between drinks for them, as is Hamiso, I should say, sorry. But a great centre combination there. Tom Dearden, Mitchell Moses at half and 5/8. Mitchell Moses, obviously the New South Wales State of Origin winning halfback, man of the match in game number 2, makes his Australian debut as well. So congratulations to Mitchell Moses. Great to see a couple of Parramatta players making the test side. In the forwards, Pat Carrigan and Lindsay Collins are the props. Harry Grant at hooker, Angus Crichton, Cameron Murray, as I mentioned, and Isaiah Yeo in the lock position. On the interchange bench, Matt Burton, Mitch Barnett, Reuben Cotter, Hudson Young. Now, some great recognition for some players in this side. Mitch Barnett as well had a great Origin series for New South Wales and a good season for the New Zealand Warriors as well. Matt Burton, he's a bit of the utility player, I guess, on the bench there. Can play a bit of lock, 5/8, halfback if need be, centre as well, and has got that goal-kicking experience and also the massive Burton bombs that we see, so a pretty handy player. He could probably slot in a lot of spaces there. So a pretty good, well-balanced side there. One that I am excited to see play against this Tongan side, which looks this way. Lehigh Hopewati at fullback, on the wings, Daniel Tupou and Sione Katoa. Daniel Tupou, a very experienced player for Tonga. Scores a lot of tries, that is for sure. The centre combination of Moses Suli and also Paul Alamotti as well, the grand final winning centre from the Penrith Panthers. Only 20 years old, had a great season for the Panthers and now has made recognition and is representing Tonga. Tui Lolahia at 5'8", and Isaiah Katoa at halfback from the Dolphins up there in Queensland. Adam Fanua-Blake and Felice Kafusi are the props. Sili Havili in the hooking position. Hamoli Olakawatu, Eli Katoa, and Jason Taumalolo locks the scrum. Now that is one hell of a forward pack. That is going to be a great battle up against the Australian side, that is for sure. But that back row of the Tongan side, Olakawatu, Katoa, and Jason Taumalolo, some great players there, that is for sure. Adam Fanua-Blake off to the Sharks next year. Had a pretty reasonable season, I'd like to say, for the Warriors. Obviously not as good as 2023. A little bit up and down, but nevertheless still had a great season for the Warriors this season and has got the captaincy there. On the bench for the Tongan side, Sonny Luke, Satili Tupanua, one of my favourite players from an opposition side. Taniela Paseka and Keon Kolomatangi as well. So a pretty powerful bench there as well. So some great looking sides there for Australia and the Tongan side as well. So this should be a really interesting game. A few of these players haven't played in a number of weeks. So that will be interesting about match fitness. Obviously, we've got some grand final stars in there for both Penrith and Melbourne in Dylan Edwards, Paul Alamotti. Who else we got? We got Eli Katoa as well, who had a big season for the Melbourne Storm. So, look, this game, the key, I guess, to this game is the forward pack. If the forward packs can get the teams going forward, then the backs will have plenty of room to move at the back. Obviously, Daniel Tupou on the wing for Tonga. He will be a target, I guess, for Katoa and Lolahia to put those crossfield kicks over to them. He's got a great jumping game and can certainly catch a ball in the air and score a try, as can Zach Lomax. Now, we have seen that throughout the season for the Dragons and also New South Wales this season, so I'm looking forward to the Mitchell Moses crossfield kicks to, obviously, Xavier Coates. He can pull one out of the air as well. We have seen that for the Melbourne Storm this year. And also Zach Lomax as well. He has scored some cracker tries this year. One most notably in game number 2, I think it was, for New South Wales at the MCG, where Mitchell Moses just crossfield kick, put it on a dime, and Zach Lomax did the rest and scored for New South Wales. And then I think he kicked the goal from the sideline as well. So we all know how his aerobatical skills are. I guess, is that the word? I'm not too sure. Probably wrong there. But look, we do know what he can do in the air and score tries. So, look, the key obviously is to get off to that good start and then just roll from there. Look, Australia go into this game as big favourites, but look, I wouldn't rule out this Tongan side as well. Obviously, I will be going for Australia, being a Australian fan, but I wouldn't rule out this Tongan side giving it to the Australians. And as I said, the last time they played, they beat them 16-12. That was 5 years ago now. So it is a bit of a shame that these two sides haven't played since then. We all talk about more international rugby league being played throughout the year. So it is a bit of a shame that these two sides haven't played for 5 years. I think last year Tonga went over to England to play England in a test match series. This year it's Samoa, who played last year in the Pacific Championships, so they are mixing it up a little bit. So that is great to see the Tongans in this Pacific Championships this year for a challenge at the title as well, I guess you could say, because as I said, they've got a pretty good side. Look, I think you have to watch, obviously, Harry Grant out of dummy half. We saw him score that try in the grand final. Pat Carrigan, he'll go all day, all night. Angus Crichton as well. We've seen him step it up in State of Origin games. And for the Roosters, Isaiah Yeo, you know what you're going to get from him. A bit of ball playing, running, tackling. He will play for 80 minutes as well, if need be. But he will go all right. Look, I think the score, I'm going to go for a little bit of a prediction. And I am going to say that the score will be something like 24-20. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a fast game. Not quite as fast as what we saw in the grand final between Melbourne and Penrith. That was unbelievably fast. I think this will be a fast game, fast track up there in Brisbane, nice and dry. And 24-20, I think the score will be. Now, in terms of first try scorers, look, I think Zach Lomax will score a try on debut. I don't necessarily think it'll be the first try. I'm going to say the Hammer will score the first try for Australia against Tonga. So there you go, 24-20. I think the Hammer will get the first try of the game. Moving forward to the next game in the Pacific Championships, which will be tomorrow night, which will be over there in Fiji. It is the Fijian side up against the PNG side, the Kumals. So look, I think this game, the Fijians, they go into this game as favourites. So I will tip the Fijians in this game. probably because I think I know more of the players that play for Fiji, but they have an exciting side. They've got exciting names in their side, and playing in Fiji as well. We all know how passionate these two sides are. Having said that, the PNG Kumals beat the Fijian side last year in this competition, 32 points to 12. Previous to that, a week or so before, the Fijians got the PNG side 43 points to 16. So, look, that is going to be a interesting battle there. It just depends on who turns up on the day. We all know that the PNG players, they are very tough. They hit hard, and are very passionate about rugby league, obviously, having that as their national sport. Reece Martin, who you may remember played for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. He is the captain of this side in the second row. Jack DeBellin at lock. Other notable names are Kyle Laybutt and Lachlan Lamb as well, Adrian Lamb's son, and Nene McDonald as well. So there's some names that you may or may not know about them. In the Fijian side, you've got such names as Sunya Taruva, Micah Sivo, Michael Jennings, Wonga Blake, who's played in the English Super League this year, Kevin Naguama, Tui Kamakamita, who is the captain of this Fijian side, Viliami Kikau, had a great season for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs as well. So there's a few of the names for the Fijian side. And look, I think they will get the win in this one. Michael Jennings is named in at centre. He is the second player, I think, in history of rugby league to represent three nations. He has played for Australia, Tonga, and now the Fijian side. So congratulations to Michael Jennings on that achievement. Pretty good achievement to play for three nations in rugby league. Albeit Australia, Tonga and Fiji, so a great thing there as well. As I said, I think the Fijians will get the win. I think they have more talent in their squad. Not to say that the PNG squad is not talented, but I do know more of the names in that Fijian side, so I think they have more strike in the outside back, so that'll be interesting to see. Now, just before tonight's Kangaroos game against Tonga, there is a Jillaroos game versus the PNG Orchids, also at Suncorp Stadium as well, 6:05pm, 5:05pm up there in Queensland. So, look, this will be an exciting game to watch as well. Some very talented players in both sides. Congratulations to Elsie Albert, the captain of the PNG side. She is probably the most notable name in this side for myself, but also a Parramatta Eels NRLW player. So congratulations to Elsie on captaining your nation in rugby league. A massive achievement there. But this, I think the PNG side will do it tough against this Jillaroos side, because it is absolutely stacked with talent, and when I say talent, that is rugby league talent. Some of these names in this side have played a lot for the Jillaroos. Some of them are Dally M winners, some of them are grand final winners and grand finalists as well. So if I go through their side, you have Tamika Upton at fullback. You have Jakaya Whitfield and Julia Robinson on the wings. Isabel Kelly and Tiana Penatani in the centres. Ali Brigginshaw is the captain and 5'8" in this game. What a player for Australia Ali has been. Made her... absolute player. 34 years of age, but is still producing the goods for Australia, Queensland and the Brisbane Broncos as well. Taron Aiken at halfback. premiership winner this season, also the Karen Murphy medalist as well. Millie Elliott and Shannon Marto are the props. Quincy Dodd in at hooker, Kezi Apps, Yasmin Clydesdale in the second row, Samaima Taufa at lock, Olivia Higgins, Sarah Togatuki, Keely Joseph and Mahalia Murphy on the interchange bench for the Jillaroos. Congratulations to Mahalia Murphy for making this side. 9 years has been the difference between she first represented the Jillaroos of Australia, and that was 2015, and 2024 making her return to the Jillaroos side. So fantastic achievement there. And look, when you've got someone like Jessica Sergis as the 18th player in jersey number 18, to keep her in that position there on number 18, that is pretty hard. You have to be pretty good to get in this side, because we all know when she partners up with Isabel Kelly for the Roosters, they are pretty unstoppable, as in winning the NRLW Premiership this year. But look, Tiana Penatani, captain of the Sharks, who also played in that grand final, she can definitely do the job as well. Have seen her play wing sometimes for New South Wales and also the Jillaroos, but this opportunity in the centres, that is one pretty good centre combination. So if you get a chance to watch this game as well, please do. The women need some great support along with the males as well, but this should be a really good clash. Look, I'm going to say that obviously the Jillaroos are going to win. I'm going to go for them. I shouldn't say obviously, because you just don't know what's going to happen in rugby league, but I'm going to say that the Jillaroos will win. I'm going to say that they win comfortably. I'm going to say something like 32-10. There we go. There's a score prediction for you. I know that the PNG side will be tough to beat. Like their male counterparts, they can hit hard in defence. They love rugby league as much as anybody, so they will give it one red hot cracking go. For a first try scorer, I'm going to say Julia Robinson on the wing. I think got Dally M Winger of the Year in the NRLW this year. She plays for the Brisbane Broncos and can get across that line as well. So a lot of strike power in this Jillaroos side, that is for sure. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens, but that should be a great game to watch there as well. Thank you very much for listening to this preview podcast of the Pacific Championships. I hope you really enjoyed it. Look, not a lot of footy around at this time, so keep your eyes out on the Instagram page and the Facebook page as well for some little posts here and there. We might do some Q&A's podcasts as well, so stay tuned for the question of the day. We might even see what else we can come up with as well, just to keep that content going whilst the Pacific Championships are going as well, whilst we are winding up the season as well. So keep an eye out on the Paracave Podcast socials as well. If you haven't already, please have a listen to the League of Inches Parramatta Eels season review. Joel from the League of Inches, or Joel from League of Inches podcast, does a great job there. He invited myself and also Adam from the Talking Para podcast to come on his show and do a season review of the Parramatta Eels. So if you'd like to hear about my thoughts about the Parramatta Eels season, then have a listen to that podcast. That is out now on all your usual suspects of podcast platforms, your Apples, your Spotify, and also it is also on YouTube as well. So check out League of Inches, and please subscribe to the Talking Para podcast and also League of Inches as well. Give them a follow on all their social media pages as well. Thank you very much for listening. And look, I'm not going to say go Para in this podcast because obviously they're not playing, even though I did say it during the final series when they weren't playing. But I'm going to say, come on Australia.
Hello, Paracave podcast listeners. My name is Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty and long-term sponsor of the Paracave podcast. If you're looking to sell your property or buy, or just curious to know what your property is worth in today's market, give me a call today on 0421 588 445.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See you next time.